First tonight, the nation's infrastructure report card is out. It highlights a need for major improvements that includes bridges. Of the country's 623,000 of them, 49% are in fair condition. And to bring them into a state of good repair over the next 10 years, an additional $373 billion in funding would be needed. Meanwhile, tomorrow, federal lawmakers expected to talk about the possibility of increasing the amount of weight that trucks can bear on our nation's highways. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Bobb, and now a highway safety advocacy group is warning against it, saying heavier trucks could especially damage bridges, including right here in Arkansas. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi live in Springdale with more on the impact to infrastructure and highway safety. Jacob?
Yeah, Darren, we see trucks driving up and down our roadways, highways, and bridges every day, those heavy trucks. In fact, there are over 12,000 bridges in the state of Arkansas alone. But the Coalition Against Bigger Trucks tells me that raising the limit of these heavy trucks from their 80,000-pound mark to 91,000 pounds could have potentially costly effects right here in Arkansas.
And there's no data to support that a bigger truck is a safer truck.
Emily DeLuca with the Coalition Against Bigger Trucks, or CABT, says they have been advocating against federal and state changes to truck weight limits for 30 years.
So ever since the truck size and weight limits were raised back in the 70s, there have been efforts to raise them higher than 80,000 pounds.
In a recent study, CABT says raising truck weight limits from 80,000 to 91,000 pounds could potentially force maintenance or the replacement of over 2,000 bridges at the cost of over $2 billion in Arkansas alone.
And we've seen the cost really skyrocket in the past 2 years, and that falls on the back of taxpayers and local governments that simply are not receiving dedicated funds from the federal government. As a lot of these bills are written, the local governments are not considered, and so there is a really high taxpayer cost associated with this.
The group says their data comes from available bridge inspection information from around the country. But DeLuca says infrastructure and costs are not the only concerns when it comes to adding weight to the vehicles.
We see the decade-long trend in Arkansas from 2012 to 2022. Again, the most recent reporting year, crash fatalities have risen by 19.8%. So it's a cause for concern. Prices are going up. The crashes and deaths are going up on the roads. It's not the right time to bring bigger trucks to our roads.
Shannon Newton, president of the Arkansas Trucking Association, says the group does not advocate for or against weight changes, but tells 5 News that, quote, any discussion about size and weight of commercial trucks attempts to strike a balance between the safety of our roadways and the efficiency with which we move goods. If stakeholders could agree, only then can we talk about how much it would cost to retrofit equipment or how much is needed to reinvest in infrastructure to support a new limit. DeLuca adds that the conversation on trucks and weights will go on for years to come.
Despite what we know, despite Congress asking USDOT to study this, and despite getting the answer, every year we see similar attempts to either raise the gross vehicle weight limit in a sweeping way across states or provide more narrow commodity-specific exemptions, which could slowly erode the gross vehicle weight limit over time.
Now, CABT says that they will be advocating for this issue at Capitol Hill tomorrow at an infrastructure and transportation hearing. But for now, I'm in Springdale, covering news where you live. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.